Today, we're diving into one of the most important and, honestly, one of the most beautiful texts in Mahayana Buddhism, the Lotus Sutra. It's an incredible scripture, not just for what it teaches, but for how it solves this huge puzzle that was sitting right at the heart of early Buddhism.
So, what was this puzzle? Well, it was this. If you looked at the Buddha's early teachings, it really seemed like he was offering different paths for different people. And not just different paths, but paths leading to different goals. It was confusing. Was there one ultimate destination, or were there many? You see, you had these three distinct vehicles, as they were called. First, there was the path for the disciples, the Shravakas, and their whole goal was pretty straightforward: attain nirvana to get out of their own personal suffering. Then you had the solitary practitioners, or Pratyeka Buddhas, who were sort of lone wolves, seeking enlightenment all on their own. And then you had the big one, the path of the Bodhisattvas, who were aiming for the highest possible wisdom, not just for themselves, but for everyone. So, three different paths, three very different ambitions. It's a real head-scratcher.
So how does the Lotus Sutra deal with this? Well, it doesn't just try to smooth things over. It offers this absolutely stunning revelation that completely reframes everything that came before it.
The sutra's answer is actually incredibly simple and incredibly radical. It says, hold on, you've been looking at this all wrong. In reality, there aren't three separate destinations. There is only one ultimate path, one great vehicle. And it's the path to complete Buddhahood, available to every single one of us.
And the sutra isn't shy about it. The text puts it out there, crystal clear. There are no other vehicles, only the single Buddha vehicle. All those other roads you thought you were on, turns out they were all just merging onto this one single superhighway.
Okay, but that just opens up another massive question, right? I mean, if the final goal was always the same, why on earth did the Buddha set up these different paths in the first place? Was he contradicting himself, or was there something much, much smarter going on?
And this is where we get to the real heart of the Lotus Sutra. It reveals the Buddha's absolute masterclass in how to teach. Those different paths, they weren't a mistake or a contradiction. They were a core part of a truly compassionate and brilliant strategy.
That strategy has a name, skillful means, or Upāya, and the idea is pure genius. Think about it. A great teacher doesn't just read from a script, right? They adapt. They meet the student where they are. They use different stories, different examples, all tailored to help that specific person take the next step. That's skillful means, guiding people toward the ultimate truth in a way they can actually understand.
So, those three paths weren't the end of the journey. They were just the beginning. They were like on-ramps. The Buddha knew that the final destination of full Buddhahood was, well, it's a lot to take in. So he skillfully offered these more accessible starting points to get everybody on the road and heading in the right direction. Now, to really hammer this idea home, the sutra tells this incredible story. It is without a doubt one of the most famous parables in all of Buddhist literature, and for very good reason. It's the parable of the burning house.
So picture this. There's a very wealthy man, a father. He lives in this gigantic, sprawling, old mansion. But one day, disaster strikes. The house, which is already old and decaying, suddenly catches fire.
Now here's the terrifying part. His children are all inside, and they're completely lost in their games, totally absorbed with their toys. They have no clue that the house is burning down around them. Their father is outside, screaming at them to get out, but they're so attached to their play that they just ignore him.
The father is desperate. He knows just yelling isn't going to work, so he uses skillful means. He knows his children and what they want, so he shouts to promise he knows they won't be able to resist, telling them to run outside because he has amazing toys for them. 3 different kinds of carts, one pulled by a sheep, one by a deer, and one by an ox.
And of course it works like a charm. The kids hear this and they all come scrambling out of the burning house to safety. But here's the punchline. When they get outside, the father doesn't give them 3 different ordinary carts. Nope. He gives each and every child the exact same gift. A single, magnificent, jaw-droppingly beautiful cart, adorned with jewels, far more amazing than anything he had promised.
I mean, the meaning here is just so powerful, right? The burning house, that's our world, the world of suffering and impermanence. The compassionate father, that's the Buddha. And the children, so distracted by their toys, that's all of us, caught up on our worldly attachments. Those 3 promised carts were the skillful means, the 3 initial paths. And that one incredible great cart, that is the single universal path to Buddhahood, the ultimate gift that is offered equally to everyone.
So when you really let that sink in, the implications are just huge. This teaching doesn't just tweak a few ideas, it transforms two of the most fundamental concepts in Buddhism.
First, you get this idea of universal Buddhahood. It means that enlightenment isn't some exclusive club for a few hardcore practitioners. No, it's the birthright, the ultimate potential of every single living being. And second, it completely changes our idea of who the Buddha is. He's not just a historical figure who lived and died 2,500 years ago. He is revealed as this eternal, compassionate presence, this Father who is always working to guide us out of the fire.
And the Buddha says this himself in the sutra. In this incredible moment, he reveals his true nature, saying, "My lifespan is immeasurable and incalculable. I abide forever." He explains that even his apparent death was just another skillful means, a story told to inspire us to take our own practice seriously.
And that kind of leaves us with this final, really provocative thought. The message of the Lotus Sutra is profound, but the method is just as important. It suggests that sometimes the biggest truths are too big for a simple, direct explanation, that maybe the only way to truly grasp them is through a story. It really makes you ask, what if the greatest truths can only ever be told through stories?